Chosen one, they are battling for you. Someone trusts you more than you imagine. You are not here by accident. And if you feel stirring inside you right now, do not ignore it. Because something powerful is unfolding in your life. At this very moment, I am speak directly to you. What if the reason you're still here, still breathing, still holding on despite everything, isn't coincidence? What if someone, somewhere, made a quiet decision about you long before you ever made one about yourself? You've been calling yourself weak. You've been standing in front of mirrors, rehearsing apologies for existing. You've been shrinking yourself into corners, so nobody notices how much you're falling apart. But here's the thing, nobody told you, and I need you to hear this right now, before you skip this video. Before you go back to pretending you're fine. You were chosen for something, and the battles around you are proof of it. Stay with me. This is for you. Let's stop pretending. You're tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. You're tired of starting over. Tired of watching people who seem to have it easier cruise through life while you keep hitting walls. You've questioned your purpose so many times, it's starting to feel like a habit. You've asked, why me? Not in a grateful way, in a desperate one. You feel like you're being tested constantly, like the universe picked you specifically for the hardest assignments and forgot to give you the manual. And the worst part, you look around and nobody seems to see what you're carrying. You laugh at dinner tables while something heavy sits in your chest. You say, I'm fine, so often you've stopped noticing. It's a lie, but here's what I want you to sit with today, that weight on your chest. It's not punishment, it's preparation, and those people fighting for you behind the scenes. They see exactly what you can't see about yourself right now. Let's go deeper. Section 1. The ones who bet on you before you bet on yourself. Think about the one person, just one, who looked at you at your absolute lowest and didn't flinch. Maybe it was a parent who stayed up worrying about you in ways they never said out loud. Maybe it was a teacher who wrote something on your paper that you still remember. Maybe it was a friend who texted you at 2 a.m. for no reason, almost like they sensed something. These people didn't show up because your life looked good. They showed up because something in them recognized something in you, something you haven't fully recognized in yourself yet. They didn't invest in your highlight reel. They invested in your potential. And people don't fight for ordinary things. They fight for things they believe are worth protecting. You've been so busy doubting yourself that you missed the quiet army standing behind you. Section 2. Why the chosen path is never the easy one. Here's a truth that might sting a little. The people who were built for extraordinary things almost never have ordinary struggles. You keep looking at your pain as evidence that you're failing. But what if it's evidence of the opposite? The pressure that breaks coal is the same pressure that creates diamonds. You don't get a diamond's journey and a cushion's comfort at the same time. Every incredible story you've ever admired, every person who moved you, inspired you, made you think, I want to live like that. They all went through a version of what you're going through. Not because life is cruel, but because depth is forged, not handed out. You were chosen for a life that requires depth, and depth costs something. You've been paying that cost. Don't walk away from the investment right before it returns. Section 3. Someone is watching you win without knowing it right now, without you realizing it. Somebody is using your life as their reason to keep going. You might be thinking, my life, my mess. Yes, yours. The way you showed up to work on the days you wanted to disappear. The way you kept mothering or fathering or showing up for your friends, even when your own tank was empty. The way you smiled through the hard days, not because you were pretending, but because some part of you refused to let the darkness win completely. Someone saw that. Someone is carrying that image of you as a lifeline. You don't always get to know who that person is, but they exist. And if you give up, they lose their proof that holding on is worth it. Your survival is someone else's permission slip to survive. Section 4. The spiritual weight of being trusted with hardship. There is a concept across almost every culture and faith tradition that speaks to this, the idea that certain people are given harder roads, not as rejection, but as selection. Warriors weren't given the same training as civilians. Surgeons weren't given the same education as everyone else. Certain people are handed things that would destroy others, not because the universe is careless, but because something in the universe knows they can carry it and come out the other side with something to offer. You were not given your specific pain randomly. Your anxiety, your loss, your failure, your longing, these are not accidents. They are a curriculum, and you are further along in it than you think. The fact that you're still searching, still watching videos like this, still asking questions, that's not weakness. That's someone who hasn't stopped believing that the answer exists. That's a chosen one who hasn't quit. Section 5. The battles being fought that you cannot see. This might be the most important thing I say today. There are battles happening on your behalf that you will never fully witness. The person who almost said something cruel to you, but stopped themselves. The opportunity that was quietly redirected your way. The door that closed on something that would have destroyed you, disguised as disappointment. You only see the front stage of your life. But there is an entire backstage operation. Call it God. Call it the universe. Call it the people who love you running interference, adjusting outcomes, whispering into rooms you'll never enter. You've survived things that weren't supposed to be survivable. You've come back from seasons that felt permanent. Did you ever stop to wonder why? Not how, but why. Because something decided you weren't done yet. Something with more vision than your current fear keeps pulling you forward. Section 6. What self-doubt actually reveals about you. Here's something the self-help world doesn't say enough. Self-doubt in the right dosage is a sign of intelligence. People who never question themselves rarely grow. The person who lies awake at 3 a.m., wondering if they're doing enough, being enough, becoming enough, that person cares. And caring is the soil that growth needs. Your self-doubt isn't evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that you hold yourself to a standard, that you can see the gap between where you are and where you feel you should be. The danger is when self-doubt stops being a compass and starts becoming a cage. You're allowed to feel uncertain. You're not allowed to let uncertainty make the decision for you. Every person who was ever trusted with something great had a moment, sometimes years of moments, where they couldn't see why they were chosen. They showed up anyway, and the clarity came after the commitment, not before. Section 7. The sign you almost missed. Think back over the last month. Something happened that you dismissed as coincidence. A conversation that arrived at exactly the right time. A song that played when you needed to cry, but didn't know how. A memory that surfaced out of nowhere and reminded you of something you used to believe about yourself. These aren't accidents. They're checkpoints. When you're on the right path, even when it's a painful path, life has a way of dropping breadcrumbs, not to make the journey easy, just to remind you that the path exists. You've been collecting signs and calling them coincidences because it feels safer. Claiming you're chosen feels arrogant. But here's the thing, humility isn't about denying what you are. It's about recognizing what you are and still choosing to serve something bigger than your ego. You were never supposed to carry this alone. And the signs have been telling you that. Section 8. Why the people who trust you most say the least. The ones who believe in you most profoundly often don't say it in speeches. They say it in action. The mother who works an extra shift because she still believes in your dream, even when you've stopped. The mentor who keeps sending opportunities your way, even though you never asked. The sibling who defends you in rooms you don't know about, to people whose opinions could matter. These people have built a case for you in their hearts, a case more detailed and more generous than anything you've built for yourself. And they're not asking for credit. They're not putting it on a scoreboard. They're just quietly, persistently refusing to give up on you. Your job isn't to be worthy of that love in some perfect, polished way. Your job is to stop running from it. Let it land, let it be real. Let it be the thing that pushes you one more step forward when you have nothing left. You are someone's greatest belief. Act like it. Section 9. The moment everything changes and what it actually looks like. You've been waiting for a dramatic turning point. A moment so clear and cinematic that you'll finally know you made it through. But that's not how transformation works. The moment everything changes is usually quiet. It looks like waking up one Tuesday and deciding, without any fanfare, to stop apologizing for your existence. It looks like sending one email you've been afraid to send. It looks like letting one person love you without immediately preparing your exit. It's not a lightning bolt. It's a choice. And that choice is available to you right now. Not when your circumstances improve. Not when the right person validates you. Not when the fear disappears, because the fear never fully disappears. The chosen ones didn't wait until they felt ready. They moved anyway, shaking and uncertain and half convinced they were wrong. And then life rose up to meet their decision. That's how it works. You move first. The proof follows. Section 10. What you owe yourself and the people still fighting for you. I want to close this with something direct. You have spent a long time being a good person for everyone around you. You've shown up, sacrificed, stayed quiet when you wanted to scream, and kept going when stopping would have been easier. Now, I'm asking you to be a good person for yourself. Not in a selfish way, in a sacred way. Because the people who believe in you, the ones fighting for you in the background, the ones trusting you with their hope, they need you whole. They don't need a perfect version of you. They need a real one, a present one. One who has made peace with the fact that their life matters. You've been the anchor for so many people. But anchors need maintenance too. You are allowed to rest without disappearing. You are allowed to fall apart without failing. You are allowed to need help without that meaning you've lost. And most importantly, you are allowed to believe, even just 10% more than yesterday, that the trust others have placed in you is not misplaced. It isn't. You didn't find this video by accident. Something in you was searching, maybe for proof, maybe for permission, maybe just for someone to say out loud what you've been afraid to let yourself believe. So here it is. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are someone who was chosen not for an easy life, but for a meaningful one. And the battles happening around you, the people quietly fighting in your corner, the signs you've been calling coincidences, they are all pointing to the same thing. You are trusted with more than you know, by people you can see and forces you can't. The only question left is whether you'll finally start trusting yourself the way they do. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step. One honest, imperfect, slightly terrified step. That's enough. That has always been enough. If this reached something inside you today, if it found the part of you that needed to hear it, consider subscribing. Because this channel exists for exactly that, the moments when you need someone to remind you who you actually are. Share this with someone who's been fighting quietly. They might need this more than you know.